Dear colleagues, let me present you the results of our research named Assessment of Hydro-meteorological Conditions Impact on the Combat Troops Operations, Preparations and Conducting the Geo-information Subsystem of the Automated Battlefield Management System. This work was offered by a team of scientists from Lviv Polytechnic National University and Hetman Petro Sahaidachnyi National Army Academy. Uh, Introduction. It is known that battlefield management system, information system, provide the data, information, and knowledge needed for efficient operation of troops. The efficiency of combat operation greatly depends on the correct assessment and taken in consideration hydrometeorological conditions. Uh, Modern weather assessment systems are very detailed. They use multiple parameters, up to 40 different parameters. They also take in consideration special aspects, different locations and routes of troop movements, for example, and temporal. So, like making prognosis for short and long time intervals. In our research, we aim to analyze different weather service requirements and coming both from NATO standards and Ukrainian armed force regulations. We also analyzed different available geospatial weather provider services, which can be used in the battlefield management systems, and we try to adapt those requirements and existing services in our existing conditions in Ukraine. So, first of all, we analyze the existing services implementations. Systems which are used in Ukraine to support meteorological data are do not always consider all conditions needed for making decision in battlefield. In other countries, the modern solution of problem are based on using base services, national agencies and organizations such as NOAA, USA, for example. Many service providers use data originating from International Civil Aviation Association and their network of weather stations. And currently, the system developed by ESRE, so-called ArcGIS Geographic Information System, is considered to be used in the structure of armed forces of Ukraine. These systems convert meteorological information about the effects of different aspects of weather to simple threshold evaluation. So we evaluate meteorological conditions as adverse or being below the threshold but near the threshold or being simply favorable conditions. Another systems in this slide you see the output of these systems which provide different prognosis, different evaluations for different kind of troops, for example, air defense forces, unmanned aerial vehicles, artillery, paratroopers, and such. And you see a dashboard, and this dashboard you see different evaluations, different recommendations for different kinds of troops. And another system which is worth to be mentioned, it's so-called My Weather Impacts Decision 8 or My VIDA, developed in USA, which is a very complicated systems, which is provides not only information about hydrometeorological condition, but uses a complex expert system with a lot of rules provided by experts in the area of battlefield management. Overall, the existing analysis systems, existing systems we analyzed, we found they provide a bit of excessive complexity. Very often they use data from specialized sources, and they also have poor integration with other military information systems. So they need to develop a system providing, working especially in our Ukrainian conditions, taking consideration our standards and our circumstances is rather important. And it is also one of the main purpose of our work, ongoing work. As a sources in this slide, you can see the sources of data providers about meteorological conditions, which can be used as input data for battlefield management systems. They include sea-based, ground-based stations, space-based stations, meteorological blimp probes, and so on, radar stations. The prototype of meteorological service was developed as this can be accessed by this URL, this www.windy.com, and this prototype allows you input the route of troop movements, and it supplies prognosis along this route, weather conditions along this route for short term and longer term, maybe. And the main requirements for larger systems, this is only prototype, working prototype. Requirement for systems should be that they should adapt to the change in functional models. It should provide data information of the evaluation area, of weather logs, calculations. It should be understandable by common. It should be done in language understandable by common users, and also should allow to deep understand the results and recommendations. The conceptual model of such battlefield management hydrometeorological system includes battlefield management systems, which also has as input information coming from local reconnaissance and database data, which stores information about geological conditions, populations, conditions, demographics, meteorological conditions. And these battlefield management systems include geospatial modeling, which provides data about the slopes, the hydrographic networks, and settlers, industrial zones, roads, and areas suitable for landing and masking properties. And all this information is collected, generalized, and provided for decision making by officials. The main steps in decision making include the choice of combat area. So previous to using this system, you should define the combat area and time period. And next step is the definition of evaluation criteria and indicators. So the impact of actual and projected hydrometeorological condition on the use of weapons and unit in combat area, and the assessment of impact. In more details, you can see the structure of developed hydrometeorological conditions system. In this slide, you can see that we start working with data collection, processing and automating comprehensive analysis information about hydrometeorological conditions. We collect such information as meteorological elements, or parameters like air temperature, pressure, cloud density, other meteorological phenomena like rain, heavy rain, thickness of clouds, ice cover, dangerous meteorological phenomena like thunderstorms, tornadoes, heavy fog. And all this is collected together in hydrometeorological information, and it is systemized, it is analyzed, and it is made available to officials making decisions. Next, our systems should make selections of values of different parameters from the database, different indicators. Those indicators from database also can be calculated. And based on this calculated data, system provides the assessment of impact of different hydrometeorological conditions on combat capabilities. And as a final result, we have here for the evaluation of for different dimensions of hydrometeorological conditions, such as of situation, maybe like favorable, transitional, or adverse. And this evaluation and data, raw data or analyzed data or processed data also helps, is made available to people making decisions. And as a result, as we expect, we will have great better efficiency of battlefield decisions when these conditions, weather conditions, would be taken in consideration. So as a conclusion of this study, what was done, we analyzed the requirements, current state, the requirements of NATO standards, and the study of existing weather providers of not only weather, but also geospatial information, and available internet technologies and services for obtaining weather data, and how it can be used for in battlefield management system. And also we developed the concept and the structure of Geo-information system of the battlefield management units for the armed force of Ukraine, which contain a special location service for assessing the impact of hydrometeorological conditions on the use of weapons and combat capabilities of troops. As possible direction of further development of our systems, we can use, for example, different kind of expert systems of using rules and maybe increase integration with other battlefield management information systems used in battlefield. So we also developed the methods of assessing the impact of hydrometeorological conditions on the training and conduct of combat operation of troops in the battlefield. Do you have any questions?